Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Are all of you planning to return to the Central Plains? I will also accompany all of you. Xiao Yan by the side smiled and informed everyone after hearing the conversation of Xiao Yan's group. Xiao Yan was slightly startled after hearing this news. He asked, "You are also leaving? The Eastern Dragon Island just experienced a big battle. Is it a good time for you to leave now?" Xiao Yan was naturally aware that Xiao Yan was intending to aid him in obtaining the purifying demonic lotus flame. Xiao Yan's chances of success would undoubtedly rise if he was able to obtain the help of an expert who had reached the 4th star of the Doshin class, but the current Eastern Dragon Island. It's fine. The 3 great dragon kings have suffered serious injuries this time around, and the Western and Southern Dragon Kings were crippled. There is no telling just how long they will need before they can recover their strength. The elders will resolve the matters of the Eastern Dragon Island appropriately. Xiao Yan blinked at Xiao Yan and smiled as she replied, "You have aided me too much this time around. I must at least try to return the favor, right?" Xiao Yan hesitated for a moment after hearing Xiao Yan's insistence. He finally nodded. The fight for the purifying demonic lotus flame would definitely involve the Hall of Souls. Moreover, the Hall of Souls would cease underestimating him. Hence, the experts they would dispatch would definitely be quite strong. It would be a lot safer if an expert of Xiao Yan's strength accompanied them. "When are we going to leave?" Xiao Yan's eyes revealed some excitement after Xiao Yan had relented. Her tone seemed to suggest that she could not wait to head out. Xiao Yan looked at her with a somewhat strange expression. Could it be that this girl had become irritated by having to stay on this Eastern Dragon Island and was using this opportunity to head out and relax? "Since there is no longer any issues to deal with, we should leave now. Additionally, Tribal Chief Yao Ming, please help me watch over Cai Lin when you return to the 9 serene deep-ground Python tribe. Among the 3 hostages of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe, we will first release Ju Feng. Otherwise, they might do something drastic in their anxiety. Kuan Feng and Ying Feng will continue to be detained on the Eastern Dragon Island. 2 Do Xings are still able to restrain them. Additionally, the 3 great dragon islands have suffered a miserable defeat. Even the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe will likely not dare to try to rescue them." Xiao Yan turned his head and smiled as he spoke to Yao Ming. Although Yao Ming was quite strong, he had only recently regained the tribal chief position. Moreover, he had even offended the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. Naturally, he could not be away for too long. Hence, Xiao Yan did not request his help. Yao Ming smiled and nodded. He cupped his hands while facing Xiao Yan as he said, "In that case, I hope that your journey will be smooth." Xiao Yan grinned. He ceased speaking as he waved his sleeve. A spatial tunnel formed beside him. After which, he took the lead to slowly step into it. The others swiftly followed behind. Xiao Yan swiftly gave some instructions before flying into the spatial tunnel in front of the helpless eyes of the first elder from the Eastern Dragon Island. Clouds lazily floated in the azure sky. Warm sunlight scattered down from the horizon, causing everything to fill with a laziness. Circular ripples suddenly appeared in the quiet sky as a spatial crack was also slowly being torn open. Many human figures slowly walked out of it. "I've finally left that damn island. Why in the world did those people shift to that kind of damn place in the past?" Xiao Yan inhaled a deep breath of fresh air after exiting the spatial crack. She spread her arms. Her beautiful face appeared somewhat intoxicated. Xiao Yan's group faced each other after witnessing Xiao Yan turn from the extremely imposing Dragon Emperor into someone with the characteristics of a little girl. They could only helplessly shake their heads. Despite becoming the Dragon Emperor, this girl still hid her character from back then within her. "Let's go. This area is already within the territory of the Alliance. We should be able to arrive at the Falling Star Pavilion soon." Xiao Yan's eyes looked around him. After obtaining his bearings, He waved his hand and swiftly led the way to the falling star pavilion. The current speed of Xiao Yan's group could be described as terrifying. Within a short few minutes, many cities had begun flashing below them. However, Xiao Yan ended up frowning after seeing that many of these cities had been damaged. Clearly, they looked as though they had experienced many battles. Looks like it has not been peaceful within the alliance during this period of time. This thought flashed through Xiao Yang's heart, after capturing the situation along the way. His speed suddenly quickened as his body vanished into the horizon with a flash. Yao Lao, ancestor Hu Yun, the first elder from the Pill Tower, and some others were all gathered within a large hall in the main building of the Falling Star Pavilion. Their expressions were a little gloomy. Clearly, their moods were bad. During this period of time, around half of the 300-plus important cities within the alliance have been attacked. Although these attacks might appear to be from various factions, there are experts from the Hall of Souls mixed among them. Yao Lao's eyes swept over the hall as he slowly stated. His eyes contained some fury while he continued, the Pill Tower has also delivered a message. There has been an increase in the number of sneak attacks recently. Many alchemists have ended up disappearing after the sneak attacks. All of us should be clearly aware of who is behind this. These people from Hall of Souls are becoming increasingly arrogant. Ancestor Hu Yun's two fiery red eyebrows moved as he ruthlessly spoke. The first elder from the Pill Tower by the side also nodded with a grave expression. Even someone as calm as him had become a little furious by the Hall of Souls' despicable methods. Fortunately, the Alliance has already established patrolling guards. This has ended up preventing a lot of trouble from occurring. However, everyone in the outside world knows that the Hall of Souls has turned our Sky Mansion alliance into a complete mess and filled us with fatigue. Some of the neutral factions that were planning to join the alliance have been shaken by the methods of the Hall of Souls until they have begun to hesitate. This is bad for our reputation if this continues. Yao Lao commented on the situation. What do you have in mind? The first elder from the Pill Tower slowly asked. We will do to them as they have done to us. They have attacked our cities. In that case, we will attack their branch halls. A chill flashed across Yao Lao's eyes as he spoke in a deep voice. Oh? The first elder from the Pill Tower, an ancestor, Hu Yun, was slightly startled upon hearing this. Although the Sky Mansion alliance was quite strong, there was still a gap between them and the Hall of Souls, yet Yao Lao was planning on launching an attack. It had been many years since someone had attacked a branch hall of the Hall of Souls. After all, that was no different from pulling the tail of a tiger. Everyone was hurrying to hide from the Hall of Souls, given their fierce reputation. Who would dare head to their territory and fall into the other party's hands? Although the Hall of Souls is extremely powerful, many of their experts are located at their headquarters. Their branch halls are not as frightening as one might imagine. We will not need to be afraid of not dealing with them as long as we gather our strength. Yao Lao faintly smiled as he spoke. Currently, the Sky Mansion alliance was indeed weaker than the Hall of Souls, but this gap was not extremely great. Although there was the Hun clan behind the Hall of Souls, there were also other ancient clans constantly monitoring them. Hence, there wasn't a need to worry about the Hun clan launching a big campaign to destroy the Sky Mansion alliance. Xiao Yang possessed the Qiu Shi ancient jade in his hands, and the Jiyu clan would definitely not simply idly watch the ancient jade fall into the hands of the Hun clan. Hence, the Jiyu clan would definitely not sit there if the Hun clan dared to attack. Ha ha, teacher's words are correct. It is not polite to not reciprocate the visit from another party. The Hall of Souls is too arrogant. Now is the time to suppress them a little. A clear laugh suddenly sounded within the large hall while everyone was pondering the plan. A gentle breeze blew as a couple of figures appeared in the hall. They were surprisingly Xiao Yang's group. Xiao Yan. Everyone was startled upon seeing this person before they revealed surprised expressions. You are finally back, your aura. Ancestor Hu Yun laughed and chided. He was just about to stand up when he suddenly appeared to have discovered something. His expression was slightly startled as he stared at Xiao Yang and exclaimed. 2-star Do Xing. The first elder from the pill tower also swept his eyes over Xiao Yang. A moment later, he sighed and bitterly laughed. Within half a year, you have directly leaped from the initial 1-star Doshing class to the 2nd star. Are you purposefully trying to cause me to be too ashamed to show myself through this speed? Yao Lao was a little stunned. Clearly, he had not expected Xiao Yang's strength to soar after having been away for half a year or so. However, he quickly turned his head and joyously fondled his beard. His eyes shifted slightly before they suddenly paused on Zi Yang, who was beside Xiao Yang. His expression finally became grave. He might only be a high-level Ban Xing, but his spiritual strength was unusually powerful. He was able to sense just how terrifying Zi Yang was. Who is this? Yao Lao stood up. He appeared quite grave, as he cupped his hands to Zi Yang, and inquired in a courteous manner. Ancestor Wu Yun by the side and the first elder of the Pill Tower seemed to have also detected this frightening person, after Yao Lao treated Zi Yang with a polite posture. A shocked expression surged within their eyes. How did Xiao Yang bring back such a powerful existence after leaving on a trip? Zi Yang was involuntarily a little embarrassed after seeing Yao Lao being so polite. She had met Yao Lao in the past, but back then, she still possessed the appearance of a little girl. Teacher, she is Zi Yang. You have met her before. Xiao Yang smiled and said, however, she is the Dragon Emperor of the ancient Void Dragon tribe. She is here to aid me in obtaining the purifying demonic lotus flame. The Dragon Emperor of the ancient Void Dragon tribe. The ancestor, Hu Yun's and the first elder of the Pill Tower's hearts pounded violently upon hearing this title. Their eyes revealed some disbelief as they looked at Xiao Yang. They could not believe that he could befriend such a frightening existence. An existence like the Dragon Emperor of the ancient Void Dragon tribe was an extremely mysterious existence in the eyes of many people. Of course, even an ordinary ancient Dragon tribe member was legendary to some people. After all, the ancient Void Dragon tribe rarely came to the Central Plains. The ancient Void Dragon tribe was as mysterious and powerful as those ancient clans in the hearts of many people. The Dragon Emperor within the tribe was an existence like the clan head of the Jiyu clan, or the Hun clan. This expert was someone even people as strong as Ancestor, Hu Yun and the first elder of the Pill Tower had never met. Hence, they could not hide the shock that surged onto their faces after they heard that Zi Yang was actually the legendary Dragon Emperor. Ha ha, it is unexpected that Lady Zi Yang holds such an identity. This elderly self was indeed a little blind back then. Yao Lao was startled by Xiao Yang's words. He only recovered a moment later, before he solemnly cupped his hands and laughed. Zi Yang felt a little unnatural by Yao Lao's politeness. She was aware that Xiao Yang viewed Yao Lao like a father. She didn't want to display the so-called Dragon Emperor airs in front of him. Teacher, there is no need to be overly polite. You can simply treat her like the little girl in the past. Xiao Yang was also aware of Zi Yang's thoughts. He smiled and continued, since teacher has made this suggestion earlier, I think that you have already chosen a branch hall to attack, right? Yao Lao's expression was a little grave upon returning to this topic. He said, after starting our full-scale investigation of the Hall of Souls, we have managed to gather a lot of information. The Hall of Souls has many branch halls in the Central Plains. There are 24 of them that are more important. The Hall of Souls calls them the Disha Halls. The branch hall that I had been imprisoned in back then was one of these Disha Halls. Disha Halls, Xiao Yang slightly nodded. This was something he had never heard about. Above the Disha Halls are the Tiangang Halls. These halls are more important to the Hall of Souls, Yao Lao slowly said. The Tiangang Halls are divided into heaven, earth, and man. The Heaven Hall is the headquarters of the Hall of Souls. We are currently unaware of its location. This time around, our target is the Man Hall among the Tiangang Halls. Man Hall, Xiao Yang muttered and asked. What is the strength of the Man Hall like? The Earth Hall is managed by the Deputy Hall Chief, while the Man Hall is managed by the first and second Tianzuan. Of course, we must not eliminate the possibility that the Hall of Souls has strengthened its defenses. Yao Lao replied. That third Tianzuan died in my hands back then. The second Tianzuan, Saint Guu, is only a high-level Ban Xing. I will not need to fear him if we meet again. Looks like we can take down this man Hall. Xiao Yan faintly smiled. His smile was a little dark and dense. He truly hated the Hall of Souls. He had nearly died to these bastards many times over the years, but he had grown now. Perhaps he should take the initiative to collect a little of the old debt. Leave this matter of destroying the Man Hall to me. The Alliance still need experts to guard it to protect against any attempt by the Hall of Souls to do the same to us. Hence, I hope that Ancestor Hu Yun and the rest will guard this place. Xiao Yang's eyes shifted to Ancestor Hu Yun and the First Elder from the Pill Tower as he spoke. I shall accompany you. The location of the Man Hall is quite secretive. It would be difficult to find even if one has a map. Yao Lao hesitated before he added. All right. Xiao Yang hesitated upon hearing Yao Lao's statement before nodding. He had Zi Yang, a 4-star Do Xing, beside him. There were not many experts within the Central Plains who could threaten them. Even the Hall Chief of the Hall of Souls would not be able to easily defeat Zi Yang and take all of their lives. In that case, all of you should rest for a few days. After that, we will head to the Man Hall. Yao Lao fondled his beard. A fierce glint flashed through his eyes. He and Xiao Yang had to hide when they had been pursued by the Hall of Souls. Now, they were determined to cease hiding. How could their hearts feel comfortable if they did not take revenge 100 times over? Daddy. Xiao Yang looked at little Xiao Xiao, who was stepping through the air as she joyously ran toward him. He hurriedly stepped forward and hugged that little figure who had come flying over. A faint warmth spread from his heart. Daddy, where is Mummy? Little Xiao Xiao's large black eyes looked behind Xiao Yang. She looked in all directions in an attempt to find Cai Lin. Ha ha, Mummy is still training. She will return to little Xiao Xiao once she completes her training. Xiao Yang explained with a smile. He hugged little Xiao Xiao while an exclamation was suddenly emitted from his mouth. He discovered that the vast and mighty energy that had randomly been flowing within little Xiao Xiao's body had calmed down. The energy also vaguely flowed and changed according to her desire. Xiao Xiao's training talent is extremely great. Within half a year, she is already able to control the energy within her body. She can be considered a genuine elite Do Zong. Yao Lao by the side smiled and remarked. Do Zong. Xiao Yang rubbed Xiao Xiao's small head. He involuntarily let out a bitter laugh. Back then, he had to train and experience many difficulties just to reach the Do Zone class. In the end, Xiao Xiao did not need to do anything as she easily stepped to this level. Thinking about this really caused one to sigh. Moreover, she is extremely interested in pill refinement. I am planning to wait for her to become a little older before teaching her the flame mantra. After which, I will help her look for a heavenly flame and slowly familiarize her with it. The gaze that Yao Lao used to look at Xiao Xiao was extremely doting as he laughed. You really dote on her too much. Xiao Yang was helpless. He handed Xiao Xiao in his embrace to the curious Zi Yang behind him. They stared at each other while Xiao Yang clenched his hand and a jade bottle appeared in it. There was a drop of golden liquid floating inside the bottle. An extremely frightening ripple was vaguely emitted from it. What is this? Yao Lao's expression was slightly altered upon seeing the blood within the jade bottle. He could sense the terrifying strength within it. The essence blood left behind by an expert with half a step in the Do Di class. Xiao Yang smiled. He glanced at Yao Lao and said, if teacher consumes it, it should be possible for you to swiftly reach the first star of the Do Xing class. Yao Lao carefully received the jade bottle. He flipped the jade bottle around and observed it for a long time. He was a little hesitant. This thing was far too precious, and it would benefit Xiao Yang more. I have already consumed it. It will not do much if I consume it again. Teacher should train for the next few days. We will head to the Man Hall after you complete your training, and then we will eliminate it from the Central Plains. Xiao Yang smiled. He turned around and pulled both Xiao Yan and Xiao Xiao out of the hall before Yao Lao could utter another word. Yao Lao stared at Xiao Yan's back. He let out a bitter laugh a moment later. After which, he clenched the jade bottle in his hand. A warmth filled his heart. Xiao Yan remained in the Falling Star Pavilion the next few days. Having nothing to do, he began to pass on some of his Do skills to Xiao Xiao. The shocking talent that she displayed caused Xiao Yan to feel completely astounded for the first time. It was likely that only she could be described as a true genius. His so-called young genius title back in Wutan City was insignificant when compared to the current Xiao Xiao. Xiao Yan properly enjoyed the feeling of being a father for 5 days. That feeling would cause him to occasionally feel like he truly matured. His current self was no longer that reckless tender youth from back then. Instead, he was a true giant-like existence. Yao Lao, who had been in a retreat, finally appeared in front of Xiao Yan on the 6th day. Yao Lao's overflowing aura let Xiao Yan know that he had broken through to the first star of the Do Xing class. Xiao Yan was not surprised by Yao Lao's breakthrough. Yao Lao boasted a good foundation. With his accumulated strength and the demon saint essence blood, it was only natural for him to reach the first star of the Do Xing class. Xiao Yan's group quietly disappeared from the Falling Star Pavilion on the 2nd day after Yao Lao's had broken through. Only a small group of upper echelons were aware that the Sky Mansion Alliance was retaliating against the Hall of Souls. The Burial Mountain Range was located at the intersection between the western and southern regions of the Central Plains. Due to its terrain, this place contained an extremely dense, dangerous aura. That dark aura was mixed with a rich corpse scent, because most of the people within a 500-kilometer radius were buried in this place. Hence, this Burial Mountain Range was a strange mountain range that was built with tombs. It was difficult to find any human figures under normal circumstances. No one would be willing to stay in a place covered in a ghostly aura. Swoosh! The rushing sound of some wind suddenly appeared in the Burial Mountain Range's quiet sky. Rays of light flashed above as a couple of figures appeared in a flash on the top of a mountain deep within the mountain range. Their eyes were locked on the deepest part of the mountain range. There was a distortion in space hidden behind a large gray-colored tree. The Man Hall of the Tiangang Halls is in the deepest part of the Burial Mountain Range. However, they placed a spatial barrier here. They will detect it the moment someone enters. Yao Lao pointed at the deep region as he explained. Xiao Yang slightly nodded. He glanced at Zi Yang. She smiled and gently waved her sleeve. The space around the distortion suddenly fluctuated before it turned into an enormous spatial barrier that completely covered the area. This time around, there is no need to leave any survivors. Xiao Yang slightly raised his head. A dense expression appeared on his face. Hall of Souls, this revenge has finally come over a decade later. It isn't too late, is it? Behind the somewhat distorted space was an enormous black piece of land. Some dense whiteness occasionally broke the surface of the ground. They were broken bones that revealed a strange chill. In the middle of this large area stood a quiet black hall. It seemed like an ancient ferocious beast as it crept across the ground. An extremely dark and terrifying feeling slowly fluctuated over this sealed space. There were countless, extremely large, and rough black chains extending from the large black hall. These chains were inserted deep into the ground. There was a cluster of black fog lingering over these chains. The fog vaguely formed a human shape. Some lustres occasionally flickered over the chains. Finally, they rushed into the black fog, and caused the black fog to appear as though it possessed a form. This entire area appeared unusually quiet. A strange atmosphere covered it, giving one goosebumps. Crash! Such silence continued for an unknown period of time, before 10 clusters of black fog stood up from the chains. The black fog shrank before turning into 10 cold-looking human figures. These people exchanged looks with one another before they moved and gathered together. Let's go. It is time for us to execute our mission. Hopefully, we will be able to bring back enough souls this time around. A human figure, who appeared to be the leader of this group, spoke in a hoarse voice. Old Demon Liu's group launched a sneak attack against a couple of cities belonging to the Sky Mansion earlier. Not only did they manage to bring back enough souls, they were even heavily rewarded by the first Tianzuan. This time around, we will also turn a couple of Sky Mansion cities into a bloodbath. One of people laughed in a sinister manner. I remember not to leave any survivors. That leader smiled. He slowly nodded and waved his hand. A dozen plus figures turned into black fog that hurried away from the hall with lightning-like speed. Bang! This group of black fog was about to charge out of the spatial barrier when the space around them suddenly stilled. It then violently collapsed. The dozen plus figures did not even manage to emit a miserable cry before they were crushed by the frightening spatial strength into nothing. Tear! The spatial barrier was slowly split apart as a big hole formed after this group of people were annihilated. A couple of figures slowly walked in from outside and stepped across the black soil. Toot! A sharp sound was emitted from the large hall the moment Xiao Yan's group stepped through the barrier. The black fog above those chains revealed many pairs of sinister eyes that observed Xiao Yan's group. How dare you barge into the territory of my Hall of Souls? You are asking to die. Sinister stern cries suddenly broke the silence. Many human figures stood up from the chains. Without waiting for any instructions, they turned into black lights that were accompanied by a dark wind as they charged towards Xiao Yan's group from all directions. A bunch of cannon fodder seems to happily be running around. Xiao Yang smiled after seeing them charge forward. He widened his mouth before a heated sea of fire shot out of his mouth. All of the black figures that entered within 100 feet of the sea of fire would vanish after 3 breaths. Those weaker individuals did not even manage to let out a miserable scream. The sea of fire spread. Those black figures hurrying over from behind finally froze their bodies in shock. Only then did they understand that this group was not here to kill themselves. Instead, it had truly come prepared. Bastard, how dare you act wildly in the territory of my Hall of Souls? You must be tired of living. All Tianzuns, capture them. A somewhat familiar cry was suddenly emitted from the hall as the sea of fire spread across the sky. Immediately, a dozen plus figures rushed out of the hall with lightning-like speed. Finally, they floated on the horizon. Their eyes were dark as they looked at Xiao Yang's group behind the sea of fire. Ha ha, you actually dare to bring out some mere dozuns. Old ghost Guu, it is better for you to personally step forward. Xiao Yang loudly laughed. His laughter was like thunder as it rumbled and spread through the hall. He took a step forward as he laughed and stepped across the 1,000-foot-wide sea of fire. He appeared in the air while his hand aimed at a group of Hall of Souls Tianzuns before abruptly clenching it. The space stilled as his hand was clenched again. Bang! After Xiao Yang clenched his hand, the bodies of the dozen-plus Tianzuns blasted into pools of blood. Even their souls had been shattered by that terrifying spatial pressure. With Xiao Yang's current 2-star Doshing strength, it was impossible for some Dozun experts to obstruct him by even a little. See heart flame. Xiao Yang suddenly let out an exclamation after he clenched his hand. There was a figure remaining in that collapsed space. Moreover, this person contained an azure blue flame. Xiao Yang took a glance and recognized the origin of this flame. You are old man Mu Jiyu. A teasing smile was lifted on Xiao Yang's face. He waved his hand and an invisible force pulled that human figure over. He threw a palm and shattered the blue flame lingering on that figure. A familiar figure appeared from within. Surprisingly, that figure belonged to old man Mu Jiyu, who had repeatedly found trouble with Xiao Yang back then, and had nearly snatched the pill-gathering champion spot. Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang's heart was surprised. Old man Mu Jiyu, on the other hand, was shocked to the point where he felt the impulse to wet himself. Ever since he had failed to snatch the 3,000 burning flame, he had been dispatched to the Man Hall. He had been collecting souls from outside of the Central Plains during this period of time. Although he had occasionally heard about Xiao Yang's soaring strength during this period of time, he did not probe for more information. After meeting Xiao Yang again, he finally understood that so-called soaring strength was much more frightening. Doshing, you have actually advanced to the Doshin class. Old man Mu Jiyu looked at the young face and felt his voice tremble. Within a short few years, that member of the younger generation, who could only flee when he had been chased by him, had actually become this strong. Ha ha, it has been many years since I have met you and I have been feeling some regret. The sea heart flame is also a heavenly flame. It is really a waste of a natural resource to leave it with you. Since I have met you again, please hand it over. Xiao Yang laughed without being polite. His hand on old man Mugu's head. A strange suction force erupted from his hand. He actually intended to forcefully pull the sea heart flame out of old man Gucha's body. Xiao Yang, you dare to barge into my Hall of Souls. You are really charging into hell to seek death. A furious roar was emitted from the hall while Xiao Yang was planning to forcefully extract the sea heart flame. A black figure rushed forward. 1,000-foot large, dark black chain penetrated air like a black poisonous dragon as it hurried to Xiao Yang. A mere Ban Xing dares to embarrass himself. Old ghost Gu, you really think too highly of yourself. Xiao Yang shook his head slightly as that chain came. He flicked his finger, and a low sonic boom formed from it. That enormous chain seemed to have suffered a heavy blow as it suddenly pulled back. Finally, it collided with the large hall. Come out. Xiao Yang flicked aside Saint Jiu's attack with a finger. He grabbed with his hand and a cluster of blue flame was forcefully extracted from old man Mugu's body. His aura had also become a little weaker at this moment. Clearly, he had received a fatal blow. Xiao Yang, I shall engage in an all-out fight with you. Old man Gu's eyes turned blood red after the sea heart flame was forcefully removed. His body began to swell. He clearly intended to self-destruct. The current you does not even possess the qualifications to self-destruct in front of me. Xiao Yang glanced at him with a cold and indifferent expression. He randomly waved his hand. A wave of indescribably frightening wind violently smashed into old man Mu Jiu before shattering his body into a bloody fog the next moment. This Hall of Souls Zunja, who had turned Xiao Yang into a miserable state back then, was not even given the chance to self-destruct at this moment. Xiao Yang glanced at the sea heart flame in his hand after shattering old man Gu's body. He opened his mouth and swallowed the flame. With his current strength, swallowing the sea heart flame would no longer result in an increase in strength, but it was necessary to unleash the angry Buddha lotus flame. Although the life-transforming flame was powerful, it was still a fake heavenly flame. Only after possessing this sea heart flame would Xiao Yang be able to truly unleash a 5-colored extermination fire lotus. Xiao Yang, this place will definitely be where you die today. Saint Jiu flashed and appeared in the air after Xiao Yang swallowed the sea heart flame. He cried out in a dark and dense voice at the same time. I'm sorry. I plan to turn this place into a bloodbath today. Xiao Yang lifted his head and smiled at Saint Jiu. Ziyang had already disrupted any spatial fluctuations that occurred in this place. Even if these people possessed a spatial jade to summon the experts from the Hun clan, they would not be able to use them. Because of a young fellow like you. Saint Jiu ended up laughing in extreme anger after hearing those words. Xiao Yang was the first person in many years who dared to mention turning the Hall of Souls into a bloodbath. Of course, I am aware that you are not the one in charge here. Xiao Yang ignored Saint Jiu. His eyes shifted to the large black hall as he said in a faint voice, that so-called first Tianzuan, there is no need to continue hiding. I, Xiao Yang, will definitely turn this place into a bloodbath today. Humph, what arrogant words. Do you really think that you can act as you like after reaching the Doshin class? It is an extremely easy matter for my Hun clan to kill you. An ice-cold snort was emitted from deep within the large hall after Xiao Yang's voice sounded. A dense, black fog erupted from within the hall. A skinny skeleton-like elderly figure slowly walked out with a dark, dense aura. This video will end here.